Tell us about the arrangement with Adapt TV and now AOL, and tell us a little bit about about that strategic arrangement and how it'll work and what are your hopes for it.
Sure. We have, as everyone knows, ad tech is exploding, and there are lots of different options in the marketplace in terms of partners that we can all work with. And we have different relationships with different partners. What we found in our relationship with Adapt TV, which started about a year ago, so before AOL made them, highly popular these days, what we found with Adapt TV is that from the get-go, they identified themselves as a technology company. And in our relationship with them, they actually brought development time, development capability to the relationship so that we were able to think about how we could use them as a platform on a broader basis than simply procuring video inventory. And so what we've done with them is that we've incorporated our discrete data stack, our unique data stack, into their platform so that we can now start to look at different types of media inventory with our data applied so that we're buying again on this more sophisticated metric.
And does that carry into digital video or broadcast video?
It'll be
television,
television.
Where will that be going in terms of its? And then that sort of talks about the consortium.
Exactly.
So tell us about, we've been covering, of course, the whole computerization through big data of digital video buys, but it seems that what's really happening now is there's a movement to buying linear television. So tell us about that, maybe a little bit about how Adapt TV plays in that, and then the consortium you guys just announced.
Certainly. So again, because of the data that we all have, and everyone's going to have the same kind of data within the next 2 years or so, if not sooner, because of the type of data that we have now, we're able to value all media inventory in a very different way. So again, instead of broad demographics or using MRI to find kind of like-minded consumers, we're actually able to target a target audience of a client, so they specifically buy X product from X client to a purchase decision that they make. So our intent by incorporating our data into the Adapt TV platform is to be able to start to measure all media inventory against those sorts of metrics. In the consortium, what we've done is we've brought together very like-minded partners who also want to understand how new data and how technology making it scalable and repeatable are going to impact the way that they go to market and how they think about pricing programming and packaging programming and even developing programming. And so our consortium is meant to be I'll call it almost a private room where we can all come together and start to play around with some of these new ways of doing business without introducing a lot of risk to any of us as we start to experiment with things. And the intent is for all of our partners to bring inventory to that consortium so that we can start to play around with different ways of pricing and different ways of tracking performance against specific target audiences that are, again, client-based audiences. So the Adapt TV, the data stack, and then these media partners coming to the table are really the secret, because so far you've had 2 out of 3 of those, but you need all 3 in order to really legitimately move forward.
So what is a roadmap that you would see in the consortium maybe over the next year to 2 years? Where might it develop?
I think, so there are 2 primary paths that I think will really be differentiated. The first one is this notion of starting to take the big legacy systems that we've all been working with, either on the agency side or on the seller side, that have kept us from freeing up people's time to be able to do more innovative, more creative work. So we're taking all of the manual labor that should be automated out of the system by finding these I'll call them more connective technologies that are available now to start to bring all of these legacy systems together, so you take out all that manual labor that's moving things around. So that's one big stream. The other big stream is going to be this marketplace that we will be launching that will actually have the inventory from all of our partners in the marketplace, where again we can start to think about how do you control supply and demand? How do you think about pricing an individual program versus packages? How do you, how transparent are you in terms of the amount of inventory that you actually have? So there are a lot of business practices that the media companies have used in the past that they are very open to trying to figure out whether or not there's a different and better way to think about it, again, because of the data that we have. When you have a platform like Adapt TV in the mix, you can easily see how then you can start to do that on a very broad basis. So again, if we've got technology involved and we've got the data embedded, we can apply that across all of our clients as soon as we get some of these big industry-wide questions on the table.
So you guys are on the leading edge on this, and to some degree with this consortium. Where might the industry be going? Certainly there's a lot of friction points. So how do you see this development?
I see the development as and we saw this in our conversations with different media partners. It's that classic bell curve. There are those who get it and are in it and have already been developing and going in that direction, so they're happy to join the conversation with a larger group because they know they'll get there faster. There are others who are waiting to see what happens with the first group. And then there's the third group who's really just waiting, hoping it'll go away. Not necessarily go away, but you've got personal decisions or other decisions that keep them from even considering participating in such a thing. I think that the conversation that we've had with them is that they kind of have two choices. Again, the data is available, so we have the information, and the question is, do you want to learn and do you want to experiment with that same data so that you understand the information that we have, or do you want it to be applied to you without you really understanding what the implications are of the way that we're looking at how media should be valued now? And so that's the conversation that we're having right now, and it is a decision between yes, I want to know, and yes, I want to help build my business model based on new information that's available, or not, because obviously people have made a lot of really good money. Companies have made good money in the old model. Our hypothesis is that that model starts to fall apart in another 2 years.